Okay, welcome everybody. The next presenter will be Jani and Kovac, presenting Getting to You via CT images. Please give an applause to Jani.
Hi. Does any one of you have any story about someone who had a struggle with cancer? Because as a matter of fact, one of my first traumas are bound with some of my close relatives fallen in the fight with cancer, and I was a teenage guy. All of this anxiety, all of this disturbance and anger, and I was like smoking my cigarette. Back in the day, all of us metalheads had smoke and substance abuse. None of this straight edge shit was stuff there. I don't smoke anymore, but at that time I was like, hey, if I would have the opportunity to kick the ass of cancer, that would be so cool. Fast forward the time, I had spent 10 years in the automotive industry, and I was like, hey, maybe I should find another opportunities. And I was approached by Varian, Siemens Healthineers company, and they just asked, hey, Jani, would you be part of the fight against the cancer? And I remembered, and I was like, hey, yeah. So today my presentation will be about the DICOM cybersecurity, the DICOM flows of cybersecurity, and let's just hit the road. So what we will speak today about. First, let's have some follow-up of a patient's journey in the cancer treatment. And after that, we will have a DICOM crash course. Any of you know DICOM? Cool, many hands up. I promise that it will not be a deep dive in DICOM, because DICOM is a very big standard, but I will just give you a crash course, and after that I will present you some of the most prevalent and inherent vulnerabilities in the DICOM standard, in the DICOM transactions, and after that I will just provide some security advisory for securing the DICOM stack. And yeah, let's start. So we have Sofia. I did some research, and I just found that Sofia is the most general female name in Serbia. So Sofia is a teacher. She is around 60 years old, and she had a really nice life, teaching the students, helping people to overcome their challenges, and she just suddenly starts feeling ill, starts feeling fatigued, tired, and yeah, you know that in this region, Central Europe, Southern Europe, we had this very great-ish tradition that if we are feeling unwell, we just keep going because we are heroes, right? So that's what Sofia do, and then she just had some regular visit of the doctor, and the doctor just say that, hey, we need some further investigation. So what happens next? In this case, it's a blood sample test. And the blood sample test shows that there is a very low hemoglobin level, which means anemia, which means some disturbance in the force. Let's just put it that way. I'm also not a medical person per se, but a cyber guy. Also, there is some signals that there is malignancy and infection in her body. So the doctor orders another examinations, in fact, imaging examination. This is what happens in these cases. So this imaging investigation is like the following: taking an X-ray because that's very trivial in this case. So doing the X-ray, doing the CT, and because Sofia has some very good medical insurance, she also has some ultrasound investigations for the soft tissues. And yeah, that's about the human part, but let's add the data flow in the hospital, because that's what brings us here to BalCCon, right? So let's start with the imaging devices. With the imaging devices, the ultrasound examination is done, the CT is done, the slices are made, the X-ray is also done, and everything is just being uploaded to a PACS system, the Picture Archiving and Communication System. This is the server managing all of this medical imaging data, and it will provide the access and the management of this system later. So after that, a radiologist reviews the medical imaging data and creates a report. After the report is written, then further examinations are done, but those are not done using our, let's say, medical imaging data system, but it is following by a biopsy, and the onco team, unfortunately for Sofia, identifies her situation as a lung cancer, and her treatment begins. So what happens when someone is getting diagnosed with a lung cancer? The treatment plan has 3 pillars. The first pillar is the most, let's say, old school way, which is the invasive treatment, like surgery, removing the cancer tissues and so. The other one is the chemical way, like the chemotherapy. And the third one, I know there are other solutions which are still in the R&D phase, let's say, but the third general solutions is radiotherapy. And here is why when we at Varian, for example, come in the picture. So what happens in the radiotherapy is still imaging. So a planning CT is done. You might ask, why is another CT needed if a CT has already been done during the diagnosis phase? It is because during this phase, this image will be strictly for the use of the radiology treatment. So once you are lying in a radiotherapy device, your posture is very critical because you will be exposed to the radiation, and the radiation must be handed over to you very precisely. So your posture is very, very crucial. So in this case, in the planning CT, you will take the posture that will be exactly matching to the one you will take in the radiotherapy device, and it will be used for the later treatment planning. And the treatment planning is done, like all of the dose you will hand it over, you will receive, will be identified, defined, and the actual delivery of the radiation is planned. Like I know it's a bit profane. You have a question? Okay. So I know it's a bit profane, but it's similar to the CNC programs. So when the radiotherapy device moves, it will deliver the radiation, it will take the angles, it will just adjust the amount of radiation you will receive from the different angles with the different profiles. So it's like, if I would be very profane, it's like planning a CNC milling program. So this radiotherapy planning is done, and when it's done, the plan is exported to the linear accelerator, one of the coolest machines I have ever met, which is creating this rays, this radiation that will actually, hopefully, cure Sofia's cancer. And the treatment begins. Okay, that's about Sofia, and we all hope the best for Sofia. But let's have the crash course on the DICOM itself. DICOM is an overarching standard for all of the medical imaging. So it's not just for cancer treatment. It's like an overarching communication and data storage and data management standard indeed, which involves the file format with all of the metadata, with all of the imaging data, and next to that the communication protocol, like how to deal with the create, store, update requests, and all of the workflows, like when we store, when we query, when we print the data, the DICOM communication is being used. This is why I wrote in the abstract of the speech that if you have ever got any X-ray or CT or whatever medical imaging data taken about you, you will have some DICOM data having information about your body. A file contains the pixel data, the most obvious part and the most interesting part for the medical users, I guess, like the X-ray, the CT, and so, and the header, which has all of the constraints about the file. And there is a lot of metadata, and about this metadata, we have the demographic information, the patient ID, the patient name, the treatment institute, and I think, as most of us are cyber security people here, I think your eyes are already open that why is it a treasure house for the attackers? Because the PHI, the personal health information, is residing here a lot. And about that, there are information in the metadata, like what is the ID, the identifier number of the patient, the study, the sequences, and also the information about the devices, like what are the devices are taken, the images, and so. And I think it's also an important stuff that if you are dealing with cyber physical systems, you already have some feeling here that it's not just privacy, because privacy is important, but once it's about, for example, cancer treatment, and we consider that these DICOM images are being used when this treatment planning is being made, it has another aspect, and it is the safety of the patients, because if I manage to overwrite as an attacker a DICOM image or a DICOM file containing treatment information, treatment plans, for example, then it's the patient's actual safety that we are being jeopardizing. And also, if we make treatment data unavailable, that would be otherwise important as an input for the treatment, then we can halt or delay the patient's treatment. If we use it to take down the service, then it's also halting and delaying the patient's treatment. And for a patient having cancer and having cancer treatment in their agenda, the timeliness of the treatment delivery is very, very important, like a life matter. The other part is the networking. So let's say we are taking or creating the DICOM information, the DICOM images, using the so-called modalities, like the CT, the ultrasound, the Röntgen devices, and the computers connected to these machines are creating the DICOM images and are uploading this to the PAC server. And the PAC server has this data backed up, hopefully, in the database archives, but also it is exposed to the internet, very, very red flag here sometimes, because the treatment planning and the diagnosis and everything, not just in cancer treatment, but a lot of other areas of the healthcare, is being done by geographically redundant or distributed teams. So their access to this data in the different parts of the world is mandatory and a must. Also, this information will be uploaded or accessed from the healthcare information systems or radiology information systems, and the independent individual physicians, physicists radiologists and other medical people's workstation will have an access to these PAC server DICOM material. What are the basic transactions we can take, like in this example, we'll take with the DICOM images. The first is the CECO. The CECO transaction is used for maintenance and operational purposes, like getting an understanding of the capabilities of the modalities, the capabilities of the servers, like are you there, what are you, what we can do with you. It's service information, let's say. The C-store transaction is used to store data. Surprise, surprise, right? So when I want to upload the data to a DICOM server, I use the C-store transaction. For example, when a modality will send the data to the PAC server for management. Yes? It's used in the TCP stack. On the TCP stack as a higher level stuff, but it's not a web-based stuff. It's not a web-based protocol. It's a higher OSI level protocol, specifically for this medical usage. The cfind is used for querying the databases, querying the data being stored and managed there, and the cmove, the cget is basically retrieving the DICOM data from these PAC servers, like for further investigations on other workstations. Yeah, and like I promised, let's have some demonstration about the DICOM vulnerabilities. But before that, some explanation of the challenges on securing the DICOM stack. Like, I already had some words about the situation that it is a high-level OSI protocol sitting over TCP, and why is it hard to secure it in the medical environments? First, in the medical environments, as they are very similar to the industrial control systems and other cyber-physical systems, the security is not the first priority, but the operation is the first priority. So if you have a device, and the device, for example, in some regions, like for example in Hungary, I suspect that if a hospital has a computer and the computer is not getting updates anymore, but the computer is still operational, then the hospital IT will still operate it as it will continue running. And this is the problem with the DICOM. The DICOM is inherently not secure. It has security capabilities that were added later, and it is being pushed out to the market. But most of the institutes will have almost surely computers with DICOM capabilities, but without the capabilities or without the implementations of the DICOM security features. And the new nodes being deployed to these systems will need to have the backward capability with these old workstations and servers. Therefore, it is really hard to say, okay, we are going full secure DICOM now. The other is the cost of implementation. I'm not sure what is the situation in Serbia, but in Hungary, the healthcare is lacking resources big time. And these new devices are very costly, and this might, for some institutes at least, very hard to go for full secure again. And the personnel shortages is an aspect that comes up in a lot of other areas, like with the lack of awareness and so. But here, it's also important that, for example, if I need to import or deploy a new technology stack or a new version or a new product family, I need to educate the personnel to use that. And if I don't have the personnel who educate the other personnel, or if I don't have the resources to do these trainings or whatever, I will have a trouble for implementing secure DICOM. Also, like I told, the security is not the first aspect of the hospitality, but it's the operation. So it's not in the focus. We are getting there. We do our best, but still there is a long and rocky journey to get there. There might be also unmanaged DICOM nodes. So in the configuration of the DICOM, you need to configure the capabilities of the PAC servers, like what are the A titles, which is the fancy word for the like the name of the nodes, the other nodes, they will communicate with them. You need to config all of them. You need to config the IPs. If you, for example, start to use wildcards, because you need to keep your ability to just continuously deploy new workstations, then at some moment you will get to the point that you will just not be able to tell that what are the exact DICOM nodes on your network. You might be in this case, and if you have assets in your inventory, it's just like with the industrial control systems. If you have assets in your inventory that you don't know about, you will just not have the ability to secure them. And yeah, we just getting back to the too permissive configuration is just like scope creeping and version hell for the environment. And the third and last challenge is that if we just go for full secure DICOM, we will need to do a lot of encryption. And today, like implementing a TLS channel is just a very easy task. But if we have multiple decade-old systems, even these solutions, these cryptographic solutions, can cause so much overhead that will take increase the time that you will need to access the, for example, the CT images. Yeah, this is a good example. Have you ever had a CT image taken, for example, for your dental stuff or for your school or whatever? I had, and once the doctor started opening the this CT image, it took like 20 minutes or so for them, because this is big data, and just consider it how long this time would be if even the encryption would be another stuff that the system needs to be done for these images. So yeah, it can cause just, let's just say, some latency in this case. And let's just get back to the too permissive configurations, because if you need to keep your system, let's say, agile, then the configuration might be a bit too permissive, which will cause some trouble when the attack happens. And for this attack, let's just see the DICOM home of the DICOM server. If we consider the internet the big stormy cloud, we, the hospitality, live in the peaceful world behind the firewall. Let's just consider that the firewall is even configured properly, so only the stuff gets in what needs to be getting in, and only the stuff gets out that needs to be getting out. You will have a printer, you will have, or some printers, you will have workstations, you will have servers. One of them is the DICOM server. And once you are dealing with cancer treatment, you will have at least another firewall, and this firewall which will limit the data flow between even the hospitality and the radiology facility because of safety and other reasons. And yeah, here is our DICOM server. Let's set up one. I'm not sure you're seeing my screen. I just set up an Hortans server for you. Anyone familiar with the Hortans or Hortank? This is an open source DICOM server, and you just can download a Docker image and deploy it on your system. It's like a very plug and play, and if you will ever dealing with DICOM security or DICOM, any DICOM solution, like in a development project, it's a really good starting point to have a node you can interact with. I also upload some image because I don't like to have a DICOM server without any data. There is a knee because I just needed to put a knee. I was a Skyrim fan, and I took an arrow in the knee. And then there is an abdomen CT because that's just very informative. So yeah, this is the Hortense instance we will be running today. And you can see that Hortense is, despite very lightweight, has a lot of capabilities and is very, very usable. Also, I suppose and I hope it's not the one that is being used in the actual practical cases. Yeah. This is the abdomen, yeah. Guts and everything. I'm not a medical people, so this is what I can add here. And the attack happens. So consider you just set up your system, but someone inserts the USB to the printer, and this USB is infected. So someone gets to the system and has the ability to start the first phase of the attack, the reconnaissance. How can you identify the DICOM nodes once in a network? So you have a port number 104, which is most of the time being used for specifically for DICOM. So if you are able to tell that you have ever, as an attacker, penetrated to a system that is a medical device or is a medical system, then scanning for this DICOM port can be a good idea to find out that where the treasure is for the PHI, the personal health information. And now we have now we see the two systems, the attacker computer and the Hortense server. And the first transaction I abuse here is the cfind. It's just like misusing the already existing transaction. So with the cfind, I will see the records being stored in the DICOM server. And in itself, the result can be good stepping stone for pivoting another attacks using this information, like the unique identifier of the studies, the identifier of the patients, and so. But even the data itself is also can be some treasure for me as an attacker, because there are information such as the patient name. So if the data is not anonymized or not protected in any ways, then, for example, if I don't know, open up this attacking channel and start abusing the cfind, and I don't know, I spot some interesting names of the patients, like, I don't know, the testicle information of Kanye West or whatever, then I might focus my attack in that direction. And the next one is a little bit different. It's the C-store, and the C-store is being like storing the proprietary or deliberately chosen information for the server. This can be interesting for several reasons. First, I can just start uploading gibberish or so kind of gibberish to the system. I say kind of because the PAC server itself, even if it's so poorly configured as this one, because I'm not very good at the attacks, so I configured this PAC server completely pants down, and even this one makes some sanity check for the data I upload to it. So if I have some proprietary data and I start upload it, let's say en masse, it can cause the denial of service for the system ability to store any more data if I just exhaust it from its storage space. And that's just one idea. Or if it uses, for some reason, but that would be a very bold decision, for example, to deploy PAC server to the cloud, But let's just consider that someone was that bold, and yeah, we have seen some extreme things in the world. So I just start uploading the data, and then the invoicing or the billing of the cloud instance is based on the amount of data. I can cause very extensive bill for that hosting company. The next one is a more delicate one. Let's just say I know some very important person or person of interest in this scenario, and I want to cause harm. And yeah, here you can see the diagnosis as a metadata is a metastatic carcinoma. We found it too frightening, so the diagnosis will be listening bad music. So someone has now the diagnosis in the DICOM file that XY listens bad music. And I created this deliberate DICOM file, and I just upload it to the system. And if I do this, eventually the fraudulent DICOM image will just pop up. And like, I think your imagination is pretty wide at the moment, that you will be able to have some ideas that what this could be used for in other cases to cause harm for the actual safety of the patients. Yeah, maybe it's just a matter of belief because the fonts are so small. Sorry about that. But yeah, the attack was successful. And the next one is the abuse of the C move. And with this, I can just download all of the patient data for my computer by referencing the ID of the studies, the DICOM studies. Yeah, I identify the UID, and I trigger one of these CMove queries, which will just start downloading the data to the directory behind. As you can see, the data is being restored to my local directory, and considering that the personal health information is the most important privacy concern of the healthcare cybersecurity, I think I need no other arguments that why it's a big problem. Yeah, but let's just stop being negative, and let's focus on how to secure the DICOM stack for the hospital IT. For this, I propose a three-pillar approach. The first is that the hospital IT environment shall be secured. How it could be done? First, proper network segmentation. Like keep everything out what shall be remaining outside, and keep everything in that shall remain inside, using firewalls, using VPNs, and so. Also, the other stuff is the endpoint protection. Like in our example below, some of the nodes have been contaminated with the malware, and using the malware, the attacker were able to open up a channel for starting the attack, and if we use a proper endpoint protection with properly set up policies, the chance for this attack could be significantly reduced. The third is the security incident and event monitoring. Like you cannot protect against something that you don't know about, so using the proper logging and the monitoring, you will be at least notified if an attack will happen against your system. And the last and my favorite is the cybersecurity awareness. At this moment, you might notice that I'm a compulsive speaker about cybersecurity. So, yeah, I like to educate people about cybersecurity, and with the cybersecurity awareness, I hope that we will once live in a more secure world. The second pillar is the asset and configuration management. It's important that in itself it will not solve everything, because how can I get to the like abusing the DICOM if I'm in? I can guess or fake the AE titles, these node names that are bound with the permissions. I can fake my IP address that has also bound to the permissions, but it will require more sophisticated capabilities for the attackers, so the risk can be still reduced. If I know that what is my actual asset inventory, what are the nodes, what are the servers of the DICOM stack, I will be able to consider them in the permission setup. Then I shall use this information to set up the DICOM permissions, and also I shall monitor the DICOM landscape, because if I don't monitor something, then at a certain point I will lose the capability of realizing that what is the situation in my network. And the last is go for secure DICOM. So I just explained to you that why a complete implementation of DICOM security is not a reality in the most of the hospital environments, but still, if I push for it, in the midterm or in the long run, I will be capable of establishing the complete DICOM security. If I consider the DICOM security when I purchase for new devices, then the ratio of the capability in my system will increase and increase day by day, year by year, decade by decade, but at a certain point, I will get to that point. If I start continuously driving out the systems not capable for DICOM security, that's also will result in the ratio of the DICOM security implementation going up in my system. So wrapping it up, I have introduced you the DICOM security, the DICOM itself, the security concern of the DICOM. I showed you some very basic vulnerabilities and the very basic attacks against a poorly set up DICOM server. But just remember that only one misstep of setting up the DICOM servers can lead to such attacks. So this is why it has been done such way. And I proposed you a three-pillar approach for securing the DICOM stack in your hospital IT. And I would like to thank you for your attention. And if you have any question, I am more than welcome to aim to answer them.
Yeah, here's one. So what showed mostly looks like some logical blocks or to say in the protocol. Do you see any other attack vectors in the DICOM protocol aside from the logical perspective you just showed?
Absolutely. These attacks I just showed to you are not sophisticated attacks. These are the abusing of the capabilities that DICOM already has, and it has for the business value they are creating using the DICOM. So it's like a very clean example of feature abuse. There are other layers of the DICOM. So, like I told you, it's a higher level or higher OSI level protocol. So if you shoot for the lower OSI layers, you can also achieve similar like results, like even playing back commands such easily. But also, and that's a spoiler for the maybe next year, that DICOM is not just this old school sitting on top of the TCP kind of protocol now, but has web-based solutions. And the web-based solutions has other vulnerabilities, very prevalent in the web development, by the way. So yeah, and that's another story. That's another story of attacks and another story of security.
did you encounter any mitigation, or have you thought of any mitigations for reply attacks on DICOM, or have you tried reply attacks sort of where you intercept and play with the requests?
Yes, it was in my mind to record some requests and play them back. I just had some time constraints on the presentation, and I try to focus on solely for these higher layer attacks. But yes, it is a possibility, and yeah, I don't want to encourage anyone to do so, but yeah, it's a capability, it's a possibility. And for preventing it, I would propose the same layered level of approach, especially the first pillar, the securing the general IT environment can be a solution for that, because with this layered level of approach, you can gradually reduce the risk level for a level that can be accepted.
Hello. Do you see a world where you can just omit all the DICOM stuff? Because at least to my knowledge is like a super old standard, weird encoding and everything. And there are newer alternatives like SDC, I think it was called. Wouldn't it be, but do you see a world where like healthcare manufacturers just abandon DICOM and replace it with a more modern protocol that probably already has good security solution? Because right now I only see like securing the DICOM as just making the endpoints like some kind of password and slapping TLS over that, and there's not much more to it. Or is it better with other protocols? Do you have some insights on that?
I need to be very politically correct with the answer. So according to my experience in the technology world, you must be really cautious like what you will just foresee for the future. I think the largest obstacle for completely omitting the DICOM is the thing that backward compatibility is a must for all of the systems. So if you want if with a product, you are not aiming to satisfy the needs for one hospital, but you need to satisfy the needs for at least a country, for example, or a region, and you just cannot really ignore the fact that if at least one hospital will need the DICOM stack, you just need to satisfy it with your product. But yeah, like I told, the next generation DICOM stack, I think, is much more sophisticated regarding cybersecurity, because even if you just imported the flows of the web protocol, you can also leverage the security solutions for the web protocol.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, if not any more questions, then I would like to thank you for your attention and wish you a great day and a great tomorrow. Yeah, one more thing, that October is the Cancer Awareness Month, so I cannot not encourage anyone to go for the preventive examinations. Yeah, that's another stuff. Hi.